take a step back before you start running again. In your search to make the world run better, start by looking at people's lives. On your quest for artificial intelligence, react with the power of the human mind. Along your innovation journey, move with great talent and craftsmanship. Walking into the unknown, learn to listen, mind the gap. When humanity freezes for a moment, bring together those around you and reinvent tomorrow. Experiences are the building blocks of life. Your workforce, your customers, your suppliers all hold a piece of the equation. SAP Helps.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mentor's Seed. My name is Pedro Pereira, and it's my pleasure to host these sessions with you. Well, I've been blessed for having a lot of people around me that are great leaders in the tech world and people with wisdom that has been helping me to grow personally, my career and who I am. And today, I decided to share with you some of those opportunities that I have to listen and learn from some of those leaders. So I invited those leaders to have a conversation here openly, live with you. So it's going to be a mentorship live for all of you that follow us. So today, it's a great pleasure to start with one of the people that I admire the most. I have here with me Carlos Diaz. He's the Chief Innovation Officer for SAP in EMEA South, a Senior Vice President that has been for many years transforming the way the company is innovating and using technology with purpose. Welcome, Carlos. It's a great pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Pedro. Ready for rock and roll.
Great. So, Carlos, for those who doesn't know you, maybe you can start by talking about how you ended up being a Chief Innovation Officer of SAP and how you started this journey until you are here. Can you share a little bit of your story today?
No, that's boring like hell, talking about myself. So I will not do that, but I can tell you something. What I do is very beautiful. Every day I wake up with enthusiasm, understanding why we do what we do. And this is what I want to share with you, a little bit more of the insights of what we do at SAP, how we innovate, and how we are ready to transform everything that we touch.
That's great. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about something that is super hot for the SAP community this week, which is SAPPHIRE Now. If you don't know SAPPHIRE Now, this is the flagship event that SAP hosts every year. Usually, this event is hosted in Florida, in the United States, as a physical event. It's a massive event. And for our luckiness, it's important to say that it's all went virtual. So every session is available to all of us today. So what I'm going to talk first is how you can get access to all this amazing content that we have. So what I have here is the website of SAP where you can find all the events that SAP is hosting. So you can unlock the potential of a new era with SAPPHIRE Now. And the entire theme of SAPPHIRE Now Reimagined is available to consume through SAP website. Not only that, you can access the SAPPHIRE Now content through YouTube, which I believe would be much easier for all of you. So if you go now to your YouTube and you search for SAPPHIRE Now, and SAPPHIRE Now will give you a channel where in the homepage of that channel, you will find every content that has been published, released, that went live, and now it's recorded, all available to you. There's no easiest way to consume relevant content than this. So in the beginning of this section, you have SAP SAPPHIRE Now Reimagine highlights. So you have the keynote of the CEO of SAP, along with the board members and great cases that have been introduced. And not only that, if you go through, you have channels. Each channel will cover something that might be relevant to you. You have the Intelligent Enterprise channel, you have the Applications channel, Business Technology Platform channel, and the Industries channel, and so on and so forth. So what's going to happen today here is a conversation between Carlos and myself to learn what were the great things we learned here, what were the highlights, and what are the things that we need to remember, and establish a little bit of what to do with that much information. Are you ready to deep dive on that, Carlos?
I am, and just on a quick note, you were sharing the places where the audience can find the information. It's also important to remember that today at 4 o'clock Eastern European time, there's a Q&A session with the executive board. So they're going to take all the relevant questions that they have been gathering during Sapphire, but also online questions that you may pose. So if we cover some things today, Pedro and myself, something's not very clear for you, you want extra information, you have the right people to answer those questions, the executive board today, 4 o'clock CET.
Great. So there is a message for you. Join the SAPPHIRE Now YouTube channel and make sure you consume all that content. So Carlos, let's start. So perhaps a good way to start here is talking about a topic that for me was a huge highlight in the overall conversation. As you hear some of the keynotes, and especially the keynote from our CEO, Christian Klein, he's talking a lot about sustainability, right? So I just want to hear from you, Carlos, you being a very passionate person on the sustainability. Why so much about sustainability? And maybe you can tell us what SAP actually announced that is around sustainability this time.
Yes, as we were watching our CEO presented at Sapphire, we all felt that sustainability was one of the biggest topics. And I think it's important that we understand why, and why now, more importantly. So we all know that there are accounting standards for organizations to report their financials and to access to financing. Well, guess what? There are no CO2 accounting standards in the world. And this is more and more important. People want to know that they are trading, that they're buying from green producers, green services. And we need to establish a standard. So what is SAP's role in this? Well, we are the organization that is de facto standard for business processes. In fact, the majority of business processes go through SAP. So what if we could embed in our solutions the right KPIs to track the carbon footprint in the production of every product, in the delivery of every service? What if we can start by just having an analytic view of that CO2 footprint of every process and service? And that's exactly the idea behind Climate 21. So Climate 21 is a program in which we're going to embed sustainability metrics across SAP's portfolio.
So, Carlos, I understand that this was a big, relevant topic in the keynote of Christian Klein. I even want everybody to see it here. So as you can see, during the presentation of Christian Klein, he was bringing in this architecture that brings all the pieces together. And as you are saying, very rightfully, in the middle of that architecture between technology, applications, you have Climate 21. Can you deep dive a little bit more about this Climate 21 and maybe explain how that works and how customers and the world will benefit from that and how we can get access to it today?
Very well. So look, when we're talking about the balance sheet of a company, we talk about the top line and the bottom line. And now we have to talk about the green line. The green line, how sustainable is my company? And there are three concepts that are interrelated. One, we now understand it very well after the COVID crisis, which is resilience. And then there are two other concepts, profitability and sustainability. And in the recent past, those two concepts were not tied together. You were profitable or you were sustainable. Sometimes it was not profitable to be sustainable, and sometimes it was not sustainable to be profitable. So now what we want to make sure is that the only profitable way is to be sustainable. And the only sustainable way to operate is to be profitable. So these two things have to be interrelated, okay? Now, that is very beautiful, but how do I know what is my impact in terms of carbon footprint of everything I do? If I produce a physical product, if I deliver a service, how do I know which are the CO2 layers that I add every moment that my product goes all the way from my manufacturing plant, or even before that, to the retailer shelf, or even beyond that. So that is what we are bringing with Climate 21. Climate 21 is, as I said, a program to embed sustainability in all our products. And we are starting with one product that customers can enjoy as of today, which is the carbon footprint analytics. So with this analytical layer, what we do is exactly that. Is tracking the CO2 layers that we add to our product or service in their lifespan. Okay, so now we have data. Now we can measure it, and if you can measure it, you can act on that. And what we are doing is just establishing a CO2 standard in the world of businesses.
Fantastic, Carlos. So I want just to address one question here. Will this review be available online after the live session? Jonathan is asking us from LinkedIn, and the answer is yes, Jonathan, it's going to be available. And by the way, all of you watching us live right now, you can post your questions here, and we'll be able to address that with you in real time. So going back, Carlos, to the topic here, it's so much important. And do you think that SAP is being a pioneer in addressing these topics this way? And what makes it unique, this topic at SAP? What's the right to win for SAP in this entire sustainability ballgame?
Okay. So I'm gonna choose an example that everybody's gonna understand. If you go to your favorite shop and you take one product, that product is most probably gonna have an eco label, okay? It's gonna take you that it complies with European standards or even with local standards. It's gonna tell you many things that are not, let's say, standardized. So you can develop your own green label and stick it to your product, and probably that will be positively received by customers. What we're trying to do now is just, let me use this example. They say, okay, these are the standards. This is the main player in the world of business processes. It's SAP, and we are coming up with a way to track CO2 in all your operations that will be standard. And that will be important because companies will only get finance if they comply to certain criteria. Companies will only be compliant if they are following some standards. We talk a lot about this, the sustainability development goals, but we all have to talk a shared language, and that means setting a standard. So what we are trying to do, and the right to win that you're asking for, Pedro, is we are the leaders in business processes. We have the means to have a standard, to provide the world with a standard so everybody can talk the same language in terms of CO2 carbon footprint. And CO2 carbon footprint is, by the way, just one component of sustainability. I cannot hear you, Pedro. Sorry.
And now we're gonna shift gears a little bit and move to a different space that has been creating a lot of great expectations in SAPPHIRE Now. Let's see this video to give an introduction. Yes, and it's about industries. And Carlos, one of the big announcements that has been done during SAPPHIRE Now are the industry cloud, right? And it's a huge topic. I think it's a great topic for many of our customers that are across 25 industries consuming SAP. So I just want to understand from you, once and for all, what is an industry cloud? And as everybody hear you, I'm showing the website of SAP where you have everything about industry cloud. So it's a dedicated webpage where you see a strategy paper about the industry cloud, where we are announcing the industry cloud and how that works in the context of Industry 4.0. But Carlos, to make it easy for everybody to consume this, what is an industry cloud?
It is very easy to understand, and it's just think about two dimensions: a horizontal dimension with your intelligent suite and all the intelligent technologies, and a vertical dimension that is what we call the vertical edge, that is industry specific. Okay, so what we are doing is we are putting all the vertical edge in the industry cloud. So all the industry specific solutions, all the industry specific apps will be available for our customers in the industry cloud. But more importantly, all those applications that they will be able to find in the industry cloud will be, let's say, plug and play with our horizontal intelligence suite strategy and solutions. Okay, so you can enable any of those applications in the industry cloud, search for them, look if the functionality is the one that you're looking for, and download an app the way you would do it in an app store. Now, this is easier said than done, because for that, and I would like to share with you probably my screen. For that, we need to do a lot of work in the background. We need to make sure that the user experience that you have using those apps is seamless. We need to make sure that whatever you're doing in the horizontal process, it knows what you're doing with the app, so you have a single workflow inbox. We need to make sure that the processes that you're completing in the horizontal part make sense with the process that you're completing in the vertical edge. We need to make sure that the domain models are aligned, that the security that you're using is consistent, that the life cycle not only of your horizontal backbone, but also of your vertical edge is harmonized. And last but not least, that whatever you're doing, no matter if you're doing in the vertical or in the horizontal, have a unique view from an analytics point of view. I'm going to stop sharing. And as I said, this is easier said than done. We have an army, a good army of developers making sure that when we launch an industry cloud, it's an industry cloud that complies with these seven suite characteristics. And that's why we are not going to be competing on how many apps do we have or how many partners we have operating in this environment, because by the way, these vertical edge applications are not only SAP delivered by partner delivered. We're not going to be competing in those domains. We're going to be competing in the quality domain, in the domain where we make sure that people is driving the backbone with SAP and the vertical edge with SAP, and that's the industry cloud.
Well, come here a little bit, Carlos. Let's be more specific here, right? I understand that. That's amazing. That sounds great. But now I'm hearing you. I'm from one of the industries like retail or healthcare, or maybe I am from the oil and gas industry. Can you pick one of the industries and illustrate what exactly that means in my industry?
Okay, let me then share another slide with you. This one, for example, I'm going to pick the automotive industry. Okay, and I'm going to walk you through this slide because it is a very rich slide, little by little. So I'm going to start by the intelligence suite, and this is, you know, let's call it the ERP you have many other components, but let's simplify. Okay, you're an automotive company and you're running your backbone operations, finance, ERP, spend management, human resources, all of it with SAP. Okay. Now, how do you choose one app in the industry cloud? Here you have the industry cloud. Okay. That is going to be easily integrated with your intelligence suite. The reason why we have chosen puzzle pieces, and I love doing puzzles with my son, so I like seeing puzzle pieces, is because it has to comply with several principles. For example, it has to be easy to connect to APIs. It has a domain model that is common. It has a process model that is common. All those 7 suite qualities that we were talking about has to be respected, okay? So imagine I have an app that is a digital vehicle hub. Digital vehicle hub. In the world of electric vehicles, it will be very important to have digital twins of those vehicles and control them through a digital vehicle hub. If you want to share them, if you want to recharge them, etc. That is very specific for the automotive industry. So that's part of our industry cloud, okay? But this is not operating in isolation, this central piece. Of course, we're adding the experience management layer at all times, okay? So whatever you provide to your customers, you need to know what is the experience that you're creating in your customer. And of course, as we mentioned, we're going to be able to track what is the CO2 footprint that you are creating by delivering those services or providing those products. Everything will be supported by the business technology platform through an open API hub, as I discussed. And last but not least, you are open to the world of business. So what about your suppliers? Are they giving you the right products to minimize the CO2 footprints? You are dealing with your dealers. You are providing mobility services. So all those business networks are interoperating with you and are a critical component. So you bring all those services to your customers.
Wow. Now I understand, I see, I follow through. Thank you so much, Carlos. And at the bottom of that architecture, there is something that I probably think will come to the heart of many people that hear us that love technology, which is the business technology platform. And I think in the world of SAP, this is another new kid in the block that is pretty much making it possible for SAP to operate at scale and to extend everything they do and to integrate the intelligence suite in order to make sure that organizations run properly, right? So can you tell us what is new about this business technology platform, how that works, what is involved in it as well?
Okay, so for that, I'm gonna share a couple of slides. You were making all the right questions. So, look, I want to introduce the concept of a digital mile. What is a digital mile? The digital mile is the distance between our back office operations and the experience that our customers have. Is this distance from the back office operations to the final experience, okay? So, and what our customers want is to run that digital mile faster. They want to get faster feedback from their customers to be able to modify their operations and do that as many times as possible, taking as much information as possible to provide more and more intelligence on what we do. That concept of the digital mile, when I talk to C-level executives, is what they are craving for. Help me reduce that digital mile. Help me walk it faster or run it faster. So when talking about the business technology platform, what we're talking about is that intelligence component in the middle, okay? And what we are doing is bringing together all possible technologies, SAP and non-SAP technologies, to make sure that we help our customers run that digital mile faster. Why do I say SAP and non-SAP? Because there's something very important to understand, and I'm sure that our colleagues from the IT industry, some of them may be watching us, will know that there is no corporation that can impose a new technology that is not open source. So we have a lot of open source technologies embedded in a business technology platform. But we want to make sure that that business technology platform is strong enough to guarantee precisely what we were talking about, is the right kind of integration, the right kind of coexistence between our horizontal stack and our vertical edge. And for that, you need to bring all the analytics capabilities, all the database and data management capabilities, a lot of intelligent technologies, open source and SAP, and application and development and integration. So I hope this gives you an idea of how important it is to have a business technology platform that is strong enough to sustain all the stack that we just watched in the previous slides.
Absolutely, Carlos. And as we're coming out to the end of this live experience, I guess many people that are hearing us, either they are a business leader that are trying to navigate through a very difficult time, and they are trying to look for ways of leading their organization, and perhaps the technology available with SAP and even outside of SAP could help them. I understand that you've been a very early, creating a very early response for the coronavirus crisis back in the year with the campaign SAP Helps. And that actually created a lot of traction with the customers in order to open for a conversation where there is no vendor that will tell them what to do, but also make them part of a conversation that we figure this out together to reinvent the future. Can you share with us some of the outcomes of this campaign SAP Helps, and what have you learned and what have you shared with your customers on that aspect?
Well, yeah, thank you for the question. Time is of the essence when you have or you are in front of a crisis, and we understood that very well from the beginning. We reacted very early in the COVID crisis, and we knew that our customers needed something different, and we created SAP Helps. When we started SAP Helps, we didn't know how it was going to evolve. So it was at the beginning SAP Helps, and then our customers told us, okay, I want to understand which are the turnaround solutions that are going to help me reacting to this crisis with 60 days, 90 days turnaround solutions. And then we developed SAP Helps React. And that was not enough. And they told us, now how I put this together with my existing IT project, so I cannot just stop my operations, and tell me how to integrate that. And we created SAP Helps Move. And it didn't finish there, because customers were telling us, okay, but now I have to rethink my business. And I know that I have to go through M&A. I probably have to rethink how the customers are now engaging with me through e-commerce. Help me reinvent my business. And we continued creating SAP Helps Reinvent. So it has been a journey. But I would like to finish with a message that is important for me. And it's exactly where we started this conversation around sustainability. I think having now the right tools to help companies track the CO2 footprint, to make this world a place where we all can live, give SAP a great purpose. And we are at an incredible place to help organizations doing this. So to whoever is hearing us and is thinking, okay, which is the next company that I have to join to really be attached to a purpose, I would tell you one thing. SAP is just that place. Is a place where we can influence the new standards for sustainability, and that's my main reason to be here.
Fantastic. So for all of you that are listening to us, you heard today several things about SAPPHIRE Now, some of the important announcements and some of the logic behind what is it that SAP is doing for the future. Lots of those discussions are personal views and opinions between Carlos and myself. This is a way for us to give to you content that might help you in your journey, understand the technology industry, and lead with purpose. And this is exactly what Carlos was telling us. And I really appreciate that you've been spending the time with us today. And I would like, Carlos, for you to give your final considerations, your final advices, even for people, as we're talking through LinkedIn, that would like to be part of SAP today and join SAP. So what is your final words to all these people that are listening to us?
The other day, I saw an analysis on remote interaction, and I was struck by a piece of information. The content that you are sharing is just 7% of the total weight. That is the importance of the content. It's all about your energy. It's all about your passion. And that's what I want to finish with, that recommendation. If you look at Pedro Pereira's channel, you will have plenty full of that. So congratulations, Pedro, and let's keep on with the right energy.
Absolutely, Carlos. I thank you so much for your time. It's been a great pleasure, and we are not going to stop here. As you know, we're going to continue these conversations through these mentorship sessions. I will try to bring as much people as possible that I know that are accessible to me, that would like to share a little bit of their experience, what they know, that helps you to grow. So my mission personally is to add value to you and make sure that you grow in your personal life. Carlos, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, additional information you need, this will be a recording that will be available for all of you. So type your questions there, and I will make sure to go and answer all of them to you. Thank you so much for you, and thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
Take a step back before you start running again. In your search to make the world run better, start by looking at people's lives. On your quest for artificial intelligence, react with the power of the human mind. Along your innovation journey, move with great talent and craftsmanship. Walking into the unknown, learn to listen, mind the gap. When humanity freezes for a moment, bring together those around you and reinvent tomorrow. Experiences are the building blocks of life. Your workforce, your customers, your suppliers all hold a piece of the equation. SAP Helps.